This episode will make sense if you did watch the last episode of the 5 bucket series. If you didn't watch, please check in the description below and find out what we talked about in the last episode. So for this one here, we shall go straight forward. We are going to look at how you can actually work upon this very first bucket of knowledge. How do you feel it to the maximum? How do you actually set the foundation for the next 4 buckets? It's very important because if you don't work upon this bucket, then the remaining second, third, fourth, and fifth bucket can never be filled. So here we need to really be practical, and we need to actually be intentional to ensure that this bucket is full, because once it is full, everything automatically flows. You soon realize that once this bucket is full, the remaining will automatically come in place. You don't have to struggle, you don't have to stress. Everything is done here. You set the foundation here and the others work upon themselves. It's automatic and sometimes even passive. So here we are. I want you to know a few things, the must knows about this bucket here, the bucket of knowledge. Number one, no one is born with the knowledge. That should make a lot of sense to you. At the time of your birth, you and I and everyone else, those who become presidents, those who become lawyers, those who become engineers, those who become doctors, those who go farming, everyone at the point of their birth, they have no knowledge of what, should be done, what's the right thing, what to do. The greatest inventors, the philosophers, the deep thinkers, at the time of their birth, everyone has nothing. The brain is empty. It hasn't perceived anything. You understand? So this should actually set a challenge to you, that every single time you admire someone else, ask yourself, how come they are better and yet we, at the time of birth, we all had nothing? It should also set a pace for you. It should also open up your mind to tell you that you can actually seek the knowledge, okay? That brings us to the point number 2. They must know the principle. Genuinely seek it, okay? We've known that at birth, you have nothing. You know nothing, okay? In terms of knowledge, you have nothing. But how do you get it? Genuinely seek the knowledge. Genuinely seek the knowledge. I'll be illustrating the diagram soon here and you'll see. Genuinely seek the knowledge. When I talk about genuinity or you genuinely seeking the knowledge, it has a lot in it, okay? Number 1, to begin with, you should be committed to gain the knowledge. You should seek in the right places. Okay, we have different methods of seeking the knowledge, which I'll be illustrating here. But the point to note is, you're born without it, you should seek it. And lastly, this process never ends. Okay, this never ends. The seeking, the searching never ends until you die. Unless if you want to become, it's practically impossible if you want to be that extraordinary person. You have to continue seeking the knowledge in your field. Okay, with that said, I'm now going to proceed here and illustrate this very thing here. We said at birth, literally, someone is empty. Someone is empty. You and I and everyone else at birth, we are empty. We are empty. As simple as that. Born without it. Number 2, at around 6 months, of your growth, you start perceiving a lot of things. You can tell who mom is, you can tell who dad is, you can tell those who stay within or close to you. If you find some strange face, you can literally go back to mom, okay? This is at 6 months. You start perceiving, you start learning. At around 2 years, you can understand at this point here, you know what is hot, you know what is bad and what's not good. Literally, you've started perceiving the world, okay? But remember this learning process here, between this and the elementary school, around 3 years, you go to school. All this process here through until you actually become of age. This is subjective. Until you become of age, you are learning from other people. They are literally actually just telling you what to learn, from 0 months when you're empty-headed, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, you go to elementary school, those kindergartens, you start learning a lot of things, which games to play, what's good, what's bad. Literally, this process here, there are people who are influencing your learning. you haven't really taken up something, you haven't pursued something you want as a person, your learning is being influenced in so many ways. Here to somewhere here, they are parents, okay? Parents are telling you what to do, siblings, okay? Those who stay around you are influencing you. They tell you this is bad, I'll beat you, I'll do this, point finger at you, and then you know that is bad. At this point, teachers are in, okay? From school to whatever of you become of age until you actually get out of school, teachers. So this is very important to learn that you're born without it, but through this process, you're seeking knowledge. By the way, at this point, you are not genuinely seeking the knowledge. Parents, teachers, those who are within and surrounding you are actually influencing because they know that is the thing to do. They start impacting knowledge in you. Then at a certain point between this level here, you genuinely start seeking the knowledge. You've finished your primary school, you're into your secondary school, you're choosing the subject to do. Maybe at HSC, you're now trying to specialize. You start seeking out genuinely the knowledge. You want to pass exams so well. You want to become a doctor. You want to become a lawyer, an engineer. At this point here, as you become of age, you start genuinely seeking the knowledge because you start realizing, I can do this. I can do this better. I love this. This is where my passion lies. You start genuinely seeking the knowledge. What do you mean by genuinely seeking the knowledge? I have to explain something here. In this process of seeking the knowledge, there are going to be so many ups and downs, okay? I want you to understand that. There are going to be so many ups and downs. Let me give you a typical example. Those who have gone to school and through formal education. When you're going to school, apart from the bigger things where you can't afford fees, they're chasing you out of class and all that, for those who went through that trauma, you can tell, it's frustrating. Yet you're genuinely seeking the knowledge, but you don't have the resources to get this knowledge here. Other students are learning, you're being pushed home to go and fetch fees. To those small things like actually the subjects being tough, you're learning physics, math, chemistry, biology, all these are tough things. You understand? You're actually being forced to be in class much of your day. Over several hours of 24 hours, you're in class learning. You're being punished for doing wrong and all that stuff. There is so much here. What do we need here? We need actually commitment. Okay? We need commitment. As you become of age between 3 to whatever age you actually realize what you can do or what you want to be, you now start focusing on being committed to genuinely seeking the knowledge so that you can be able to actually fill this bucket here. Commitment is very important. Without it, so many people lose track here. These are people who run out of school. These are people who run out from home. These are people who, instead of committing to studying, they actually give up with education. Now, the other thing that we should really look at, of course, commitment is a smaller word, but I will summarize something here. So that you can save time. You need to be actually disciplined. That's what I can actually summarize whatever takes place here in the learning process as you become of age. You need to be disciplined. Remember, adolescence is here. The adolescence stage is here. A lot of frustrations. You look at people who are doing better. You want to do like them. You don't have the resources. You have means of getting them, which are actually bad sometimes. Maybe people can access good smartphones, good clothing, and all that through maybe doing prostitution, lying, stealing. All the habits are here because this is the active stage of learning and realizing one's potential. So at this stage here, you really need the discipline. If you're disciplined here, you will still remain genuine in seeking the knowledge. If you're disciplined here, you will do the right thing to ensure that this bucket gets full. So as you continue with the process, you actually now start becoming someone. Because remember here, you're garnering the knowledge through school, passing papers and all that. Now, I want to mention something here. If you have mastered this, or you're still in the way to mastering this discipline here, I'm happy for you. If you haven't, you're still struggling, please, I want to say a few things. That if you waste this period here, you don't get the knowledge, because this is it's a very critical stage in someone filling this bucket here. Make sure you do everything possible. Sacrifice the sleep. Sacrifice the good things you want to enjoy for now, going for parties and all that, and garner knowledge here, either from school, or you're visiting elders for the social life knowledge, or you're reading books, or you're doing research. This stage, you need a lot of sacrifice. At the end of the day, if you're disciplined, trust me, you will come out as someone who is well equipped to face the reality. You will have what it takes to fill this bucket here. So this can vary. Someone can pursue different things, from becoming a scientist, becoming an art guy, becoming a lot of stuff happen here. A lot of stuff. Counselors, teachers, but you're garnering knowledge just so that you can actually qualify to become someone in society. So as you become of age, we now end here. Remember, by the time you become of age, let me say you've come out of a college or university, this is secondary, primary, okay? And then you're out, then university is here. You're out of that, and then you're here qualified for something else. I know at this point, you should be taking us to the second bucket, but I want to emphasize something here, this point, that it never ends. If you finish this process of learning, and you've become someone, and it's time for you to go to the next bucket, I want you to never forget about this. Whereas you're working upon the second bucket of applying the knowledge and getting the skills, never stop learning. Never stop learning. Even at work, even in the internship, make sure you still working upon this bucket, because as I told you, it never really gets full. You just have enough to keep you going. But if you continue seeking the knowledge, you even become better at whatever you're trying to achieve. So it never ends. It never ends. Now, this takes us to the very basic and very important thing, that you have actually committed yourself, you've garnered the knowledge. How do you actually maximize this stage here of learning the knowledge? I want us to talk about a few things. Knowing where to actually get the resources to get the knowledge in what you want. I don't want to be specific on what you're going to pursue. Everyone has their passions. Passions could depend on a lot of things. You can have a pain. You can have, most importantly, passion. I would really want people to look into themselves and find out what they really are passionate about, because at the end of the day, passion drives everything. Passion drives everything. So if you have a passion, maybe helping other people in society, you can now garner knowledge on how to help people. If you have passion for inventing things, go do the physics and the math and start inventing things. If you have passion for computer, go pursue your knowledge in computer science, come back and build applications, softwares to help people make lives better. If you have passion for teaching others, go pursue the knowledge on teaching others. So passion could be one factor to help you go through this stage here. But through this stage, you need resources. Resources are so many where you can get the knowledge. I will just mention a few. Until of recent, we've always had our elders. Okay, that's very important. We've always had written books, literature. Literature, it's always been there. Now, of recent, we have the internet. Okay, internet, very important. This has changed the way we consume knowledge. This internet has changed the way or the time we take to garner knowledge. You understand? If right now you're watching me on a smartphone and you're struggling to fill this bucket, you have a smartphone, you have the internet, then I think you don't yet know what to do maybe, but there is so much you can achieve in terms of consuming knowledge through the internet. There are thousands of topics a lot of resources, articles, videos. Just know there is a lot. Today we have AI where we have a lot of chatbots, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, R1. You can literally do research on any topic in this world. If you want to become an engineer, you want to become a counselor, you want to become a doctor, literally this thing can help you maximize this stage here. Because one challenge that we always have is people don't have focus here. They just go through the system. Then after they come out here, they realize, oh, I'm passionate about this. Let me go back and... So that's something that you should avoid early enough. Do research on what you want. Use the internet to consume knowledge. So this has been my one go-to center for acquiring knowledge on different things. So resources. You need to know the right resources. You need to know the right people to go to seek the knowledge. You need to have a variety of them to compare, because you don't want to end up basing on one source that will later disappoint you. So have a variety of them and then ensure that you maximize and compare what you have. At the end of the day, with the resources, of course, you have the knowledge, you have the discipline. This process has been smooth for you. At least the point is coming where you have the knowledge on whatever you want, you pursued. You have the knowledge, and this one here, if well handled or if well achieved, you can now go to bucket number two or bucket two. We talked about acquiring skills. Bucket number two. So this process here is very fundamental. Just to catch up, we said to fill this bucket, you need to have the knowledge. The must-knows are, no one is born with the knowledge. That's why, personally, I never really get worried. I never get scared when I see someone who knows better than I do, because I know at the end of the day, they were born without and they just sought it. Therefore, I can also seek it. That's why I'm confident. Genuine seeking of the knowledge is very paramount. You don't have to lie to yourself. Seek knowledge in something that you're passionate about, that you know you won't waste time, then later change. Genuinely seek the knowledge. Then lastly, mark this. The seeking never ends. You seek throughout. Even when you qualify. In the last episode, we used an example of Elon Musk. You'd be surprised that they still have researches they do. Those big inventions they make, they don't just base on the knowledge they consumed here. It's always evolving. As the internet grows, as the world shifts to technology and all that, you need to keep yourself updated. So it never ends. And if you can only follow this, trust me, you end up with the knowledge. And this will take us to bucket number two. So in the next video, we shall be talking about how to actually acquire, or how to fill bucket number two, which is also equally important. How to fill bucket number two. With that said, let me sign out. But before, there are people who have been asking me about our videos about importation business. I did a full video guiding you if you're between 16 to 35 or even above. I've done a video that is going to guide you on how you can literally use your smartphone, you can use the internet with the little capital that you have to be able to start a business. So make sure you check it out in the description below, because it's going to cover everything. And I shouldn't hear a lot of complaints that I've not understood how to do shipping and all that, because it's going to cover everything from getting a product idea, finding suppliers, taxes, shipping, and all that stuff. Even post-marketing, I'll talk about that. The platforms you can use to market, okay? So just make sure you check out the video in the description below. With that said, peace. Let me see you in the 5 bucket series, part 3, episode 3. Peace.